Welcome back one final time inside the Revolution Ice Center here at Pittston, Pennsylvania for the 2025 ESCHL Championship. Alongside Dan McCarthy, I'm Caleb Spinner as we get set for the Syracuse Orange taking on the Delaware Blue Hens. Dan, this has been an exciting tournament, finally coming to an end today with David versus Goliath on the ice.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup today. We have this season's most dominant team in the regular season versus arguably the hottest team in this playoff. The Orange are coming off 2 great wins. Hopefully they can find a third and bring home some hardware.
Starting lineup for the Syracuse Orange, head coached by Chris Timmons, is the same as it's been all tournament long. The forwards, Brock Alvers, Jack Alicia, and Sam Hutchinson, the defensive pair of Connor Chester and Jake Brown doing the back checking to open the game, and the goaltender is AJ Finta. Countering are the Delaware Blue Hens, coached by Todd Mittelmeyer, the forwards, Justin Guelph, Ryan Rodriguez, and Tanner Mahoney, the defensive pair, Brady Burke and Riley Donor, the captain, and the goaltender, Jacob Snellenberg, making his 26th appearance after starting yesterday in Delaware's win over Rhode Island to get them into this championship berth. Snellenberg defending the goal to the right, Finta in the net to our left. Right out in front, Syracuse off the opening rip. Sam Hutchinson gets a shot from inside the right circle. Snellenberg gets his first save of the day, and we're back out to center ice. 30 seconds gone in the opening period as Alicia takes it into the right slot, works his way down into the corner before Rodriguez and the Blue Hens defense is there. Chesner now out at the right point. Mahoney pokes it off his stick and sends it down to Syracuse's end where Jake Brown goes chasing, and an icing will stop the clock at 19:17. Dan, let's take a look at how both teams got here. Delaware had a shorter road. They got the bye being the top team in this tournament. They had to beat Rhode Island, and they did, 6-1 in decisive fashion. Meanwhile, Syracuse had the longer path into the playoff. They defeated Drexel on Friday night, 6-4, and then a blowout win over Stony Brook. That final score was closer than it should have been, coming out to 9-5, but the Orange led by 6 goals at one point.
Yeah, these are 2 teams that belong here tonight. 2 dominant performances out of the semifinals. This is going to be a great matchup today.
1 minute gone in the opening period, scoreless between the Orange and the Blue Hens with the 2025 ESCHL Cup on the line. Also the final one as this conference will dissolve. Most of these 6 teams who call the division home will be moving into the ACCHL starting next season. Up the near board, Strawbinger moves it ahead towards Andrew Lowe. Lowe puts it deeper into the Syracuse zone to Luke Dozen. Dozen back out to Strawbinger at the point, sends one in across the body of Finta, off target out of the net, but Finta moves the slide just in case. He didn't have to get his mitt on that one as it goes out into the far corner where Syracuse will pick it up. Carter Rugg moving it up the right half wall, gets it ahead to Gargurovich off of his stick onto the defensive blade of Andrew Lowe. Collisions in front of the Delaware bench. Syracuse has the puck in their attacking end just barely. Delaware able to poke it out, trying to hold the line. In there for Syracuse was Jack Wren, but Dominic Guido takes it away from him. Dominic Guido, the co-captain of these Blue Hens, alongside the defenseman Riley Donor. The alternate captains Cody Diaz and Ryan Rodriguez, 3 forwards and a defenseman making up that captain's roster. Up through center, a hit from Duffy, leveled against number 26, Luke Panapresso, frees up the puck. Syracuse battling in their own side of the ice. Tanner Cole leveling a hit on the left half wall in the high slot, freeing up the puck towards center. Here comes Duffy into the right side, looking for a centering feed, couldn't get it through to Gaffney. Rebound chased into the right corner. 2 Blue Hens, 2 Orange fighting for it. The Blue Hens come up big on that one, freeing up the puck to Noah Goose, who then skies it down the sheet. Changes made from both teams, 17-15 to play in the first period. No score between the Orange and the Blue Hens in the ESCHL final. Cade Cook at center, right side, takes a shot from Infanger as he dumps the puck into the Delaware defensive zone. Quickly out of it is Alex Infanger, putting it down to Syracuse ice. Finta comes out of his net to play it, backhands it dangerously close to Louis Rule, who was right there chasing behind the red line. Syracuse able to get a clear with 16:40 to play in the opening period, scoreless between the Blue Hens and the Orange. The Color Bowl, as some have taken to calling it. Any team with colors in their name gets that moniker. Alicia, low in the right slot, puts one in, a centering feed towards Hutchinson. Snellenberg makes the save.
That's great vision by Alicia finding Hutchinson late there. This line's been working well all year.
Snellenberg had an assist yesterday, a rare time that you see a goalie get the primary on a goal for Delaware, but he skied it in towards center, had a teammate right there, was able to put it through against Callum Burgess for Rhode Island. Also saw a goalie goal in that game from the aforementioned Burgess. Two things that you rarely see in games alone, and we saw them both in the same contest. How lucky are we?
Yeah, technically the Hens haven't given up a goal by the other team all playoffs yet. It's going to be important to change that narrative in this game today.
Technically, that puck came off of the stick of Callum Burgess and then got backhanded by a Blue Hen off the board into an empty Delaware net. So, yes, they scored technically all 7 goals of that game, even though they held on to win 6-1 as the final. Snellenberg able to cover up on a controversial stoppage. Syracuse saying that puck was loose, and indeed it was in front of Snellenberg, but the officials in a bad position to see that one gave him the whistle.
Yeah, unfortunate call there, but it happens every now and then. Ref obviously understanding his mistake, and both teams will get changes with fresh legs on the ice.
Just under 16 minutes to play in a scoreless first period between the Orange and the Blue Hens here in Princeton, Pennsylvania in the 2025 ESCHL Championship. Gargurovich, right side, lower the goal line, gets it out to Carter Rugg. Snellenberg makes the save, sliding over, the puck still loose. Syracuse keeping it alive. Swiping with his backhand in front of the net was Eli Pendergrass, and now freed up onto the stick of Dominic Guido at center. Andrew Lowe moves it ahead, taking in a shot. Finta making the save off the stick of Dozen. High at the Syracuse end, Dozen has to take it between the blue lines before putting it back towards orange ice. 15-20 to play in the first period. Scoreless between the Orange and the Blue Hens. Up the ice to Gargurovich, works it left side towards Pendergrass, who moves it into the Syracuse attacking end. Gargurovich goes chasing as the rest of his teammates make changes. Now going in towards the right corner was Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky lost it off a hit. Wren had it now at the right point, wraps it around the back end board. Snellenberg comes out of the net to play it. The Orange there, but unable to control the puck enough to put it in towards the empty net as Snellenberg was out moving the puck around. Luke Pranapresso out of his own end, working it right side through the neutral zone. Tried to move it ahead towards Cody Diaz. Couldn't connect on his feet. 14:37 to go. First period, no score. Cato in the left corner of his own zone, battling hard defensively against number 28, Tommy Tracy. Tracy takes a shot in towards Finta after winning the battle with Cato. The rebound onto the stick of Evan Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky working it up the right side, sending one in towards Snellenberg just to put it deep of the zone. Not really a scoring chance. And the rebound after going off of bodies, the puck flies in towards the far side of the ice near the Delaware bench to stop us at 14:14 to go in a scoreless first period.
One thing that's been working really well all weekend is our ability to break the puck out. Defensemen and forwards have been showing great patience, balance with urgency, getting these pucks past Delaware forecheckers and back into the offensive zone where we want it.
Face-off coming in the Delaware end, left side face-off circle. Gaffney lost the face-off to Early. Trevor Early, known to be one heck of a chirper. You could hear him going against Rhode Island. Helped get the Rams off of their game that got Delaware the win yesterday to punch their ticket into this one. Cade Cook off the loose puck in his own end. Shakes off a check from Ruel. And now Donor in his own end, left side. Stretch pass to Infinger, gets off his stick. On to Syracuse's Von Tersch, tried to move it ahead towards Cade Cook, went off target on that pass. And now here comes Guelph to Mahoney ahead. Gaining the offensive blue line. Finta makes a blocker save out of a beautiful shot from Justin Guelph. Guelph gets his rebound right in front and then centers it down to Ryan Rodriguez, who scores. Delaware on the board first. Ryan Rodriguez has the Blue Hens up 1-0.
It's all about puck management in front of the net. You know, Finta can make the first save. He's shown that all season, especially in these playoffs. But it's about clearing out sticks and bodies in front, not letting that second opportunity in tight happen.
Ryan Rodriguez came into this game into the weekend with 29 goals on the season, 58 total points. He's averaging more than a point a game over 127 appearances in his Blue Hens career. He's got 153. Now make that 158 with the 4 points yesterday and the goal today. Syracuse trailing 1-0 against Delaware here in the first period. 2025 ESCHL Championship. 13 minutes to play in period number 1. Chesner trying to clear his zone, puts it onto the stick of Andrew Lowe, who skies it high of the crossbar into the netting to stop us at 12:58 to go in the opening frame. If you had to put money on which Delaware Blue Hen would get on the board first, the betting favorite was probably Ryan Rodriguez.
He's a goal scorer through and through. The guy finds back the net from anywhere on the ice, in front, out far. He can score. It's going to be really important to lock him down the rest of this game.
The senior ending his time in Delaware the right way. Like I said, came into this weekend with 29 goals this season. That's the most of his career. Previous best was 22 as a freshman. Here's Gargurovich at the right point, puts one in, couldn't get through the bodies in front. The rebound heads out through center where Cato backhands it to Pendergrass, who dumps it into the zone. Panapresso playing in his own end, freed up. Gargurovich moving it in, almost put in, but off the post. Tony Larkin thought he had this evened up, but he's off by an inch.
Oh man, can't get closer than that. That's another grease. That would have been another greasy goal by Tony Larkin. He gets in those dirty areas and finds back the net. But this line's been producing all weekend. I'm sure they'll get their chances for the rest of the game.
Gargurovich came out of nowhere left side to move it over to Larkin. Snellenberg getting his skate to the post late. Larkin almost tied us up at 1-1 rather. Instead, the score remains 1-0 in favor of the Blue Hens over the Orange here with 12:45 to play in the opening frame. Puck skied out through the Delaware end, early playing it at the left point. Ruel skating away with it, pressured defensively by Jacob Von Tersch. Von Tersch, small but mighty, a missile on the ice the way he throws his weight around and frees up the puck like he did there.
Yeah, his low center of gravity seems to help him there.
Wren got tripped up as he entered the zone. Looks like they're going to call offsides as the Orange worked it into the attacking end. Puck stops with 12:25 to go in the opening period. Delaware ahead 1-0, and while most times in a postseason game you'd be happy to get the first goal, Syracuse advanced into yesterday's semifinal off a comeback win against Drexel, coming back from down 3-1 in the second period to win that 6-4. So against these Orange, I don't know that any team feels their lead is safe. Puck out through center into the Syracuse end. Finta calling for icing. He won't get it. Diaz gets there first for Delaware. Moves it in the left corner to Dozen. Dozen wrapping it around behind Finta. Decides to pull back in the corner. Looked like he was slot bound. Instead decided to put on the brakes and move it himself between the circles. Backhands it. Pressured defensively by Brendan Duffy. Gets it out towards Straubinger. Straubinger turns one in towards Finta. Finta able to make the save and cover to stop play with 11:44 to go in period number 1. Delaware ahead of Syracuse 1-0.
The response to this first goal is going to be really important here. We saw yesterday, Stony Brook got some goals late in the game. They got to get some life for a few moments, and we responded right back to the goal. We're going to need that for the rest of this game.
Still plenty of time for these Orange to come back, even in this period, let alone the game. Delaware getting ahead early. The team's top seed in this tournament. They have earned it. 51 points on the season, 16 in conference play. Next best was Stony Brook at 13. Syracuse, for perspective, had 8 at the 5th spot. Puck out, moved in front of Finta, cleared away by the Orange. Rodriguez was looking for goal number 2 of his day. Instead, the Orange go on the offensive. Jack Alicia takes it into the attacking zone. Pressured by Chesner after Alicia lost the puck. Freed up to Alvers. Right slot. Alvers tried to go 5-hole. Snellenberg shut it down. Rebound loose behind the net. Fighting for it are Alvers and Alicia. Delaware able to win that battle. Guelph moves it out of the zone. The Blue Hens have to retreat back to their own end. Noah Goose before finally sending it the full 200. Cody Diaz down there again. Andrew Lowe working it in through the circles. Freed it up to the right side. A shot deflected by Finta. Donor now at the left point. Wraps it around the back half wall. Dozen goes chasing. Right corner, freed up by Gaffney, and a whistle will freeze us at 10:32 in the opening period.
Jack Leach is showing great vision out here. He's being very patient, finding the guy late instead of trying to force plays. His line's been great finding each other all weekend.
The Blue Hens out shooting the Orange 8-5 so far through the first almost half of this opening period. 10:28 to play in the first. Delaware ahead of Syracuse 1-0. Puck between the blue lines. Gaffney fighting for it. Gets it out of the zone, has to retreat behind the blue line as Cade Cook was looking to enter. Cook just had to backhand it deeper. Brady Burke takes over for Delaware. Out of the zone, Thomas picks it up. Thomas has been all over this tournament. Not in the usual way, hasn't been a major goal scorer, but his presence defensively has certainly been something that's gotten the Orange to this point in the tournament. The final game against top-seeded Delaware, and an icing called with 9:49 to play in the first period.
Seems like Delaware bench is disagreeing with that call. We'll see where we line up here.
They thought one of their guys touched it as it went down, not quite icing. One of their guys putting it off a body of an Orange defender. They will lose their appeal. Todd Mittelmeyer talking to an official in front of his own bench. The official's heard enough, goes over to start this face-off here in the right side of the Delaware attacking, or rather defending end. Syracuse on the attack. Ruel trying to fish it out of the corner. Pressured defensively by Cook and Pendergrass. Pendergrass has it on his twig, moves it back into the high slot. Cato putting one right into the chest of Snellenberg, who's able to hold on and make the save. And now the routine pushing and shoving in front of the crease that we've come to expect from this physical tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a physical battle here today. Compared to the other two teams Syracuse has faced in the offseason, Delaware's way more physical. They're an older team. They finish every hit. It's going to be a battle for all 60 minutes today.
Face-off in the Delaware defensive end. Tony Larkin ready to tie up with the alternate captain, Tony Diaz. Strawbinger back behind Diaz for the Blue Hens, waiting this puck to come to him. Larkin instead wins it, moves it off the right glass towards Skolnick. Skolnick lost the handle. Tracy now takes over for the Blue Hens. He's robbed by Gargurovich. 9:20 to play, first period. The Orange trail the Blue Hens 1-0 here at the Revolution Ice Center in Pittston, Pennsylvania. Final game of this ESCHL tournament between the number 1 seed Delaware Blue Hens and the number 5 seed Syracuse Orange. Tracy tries to shovel it out of his zone. He does. Gets it towards center before Pendergrass puts it back in. Snellenberg out from between the pipes. Moves it onto the friendly stick of Chance DeBolt. DeBolt moved it towards center. Didn't have a Blue Hen in sight. Instead, Rugg takes the feed. Strawbringer now out of his own end. A stretch pass knocked away by the skates of Brendan Duffy. Delaware having to take this out of their own end once again. Strawbinger flicks it in towards Finta, able to keep it out of his net with 8.5 to play in the opening frame. Delaware ahead of Syracuse 1-0. Puck out high slot, right side. Out to the point. Turning a shot in that got to Finta, but didn't challenge him. Noah Goose off that shot, as well as the follow-up, getting it in front on the would-be assist to Dominic Guido. Orange clear it down the sheet, and we'll get an icing to stop play with a skosh over 8 minutes to go in the first period.
Delaware forecheck seems to be giving us some problems today. There's a lot more trouble breaking the puck out. A couple icings that we want back. Hopefully we can find our stride and keep moving offensively.
This looks like what happened with Rhode Island. They spent too much time in their defending zone, whereas the Blue Hens just put shot on Callum Burgess. Ended up giving up 6 in that game in the Rams' 6-1 defeat. AJ Finta, though, has been the starter in all 3 games. Had to come out of the opening contest against Drexel, after he responded to a hit from Anthony Tuozo. Tuozo just came full head of steam And that shot came with a full head of steam off the stick of Luke Panapresso. Delaware moves ahead 2-0.
Yeah, another example of, just like the first goal, of not getting bodies cleared out from in front. We leave him completely open in front of the net, gets a wide open tip past Finta, not much he can do there. We're going to need to make some adjustments for the next 2.5 periods here.
Once again, the Orange, no strangers to falling behind in a tournament game. Gave up 2 goals, one at the end of the first period and one at the end of the second against Drexel in their first game of the tournament. Something that they've done before, they can do it again. You have to imagine if you're one of the Orange faithful. Ryan Thomas trying to chase that puck into the right corner. His stick got held, looked to be by Guido. But it doesn't stop Syracuse from moving out of their end. Alicia up the right wall, put it behind Snellenberg in the net. He came out but from between the pipes to play that one. Out of his crease, Hutchinson now behind, tried to move it ahead, got there, just onto the stick of Cato, but it was too hard. Lowe takes over for the Blue Hens, turns one in towards Finta. Finta sticks it out of play with 6:54 to go in the first period, and the Blue Hens ahead of the Orange 2-0. They do say though, Dan, 2-0, that's the worst lead in hockey.
Yeah, I would never count the Orange out. You know, they've been getting chances so far, not as much as Delaware, but they're still in this game.
2-0, a wide enough margin to look like it's insurmountable, but also too close to be comfortable. Cook flicking one out of the right slot in towards Snellenberg, trying to wrap it around behind the net to Gaffney. Gaffney tied up between the stick of 2 Blue Hens right in front of the net. Cook coming away with it. Works it accidentally onto the stick of Alex Infenger. Infenger, number 4, blows a tire, courtesy of Syracuse number 4, Carter Rugg. What handles from Rugg to put Infenger on his back? Here's DeBolt, a 2-on-1 chance. Up the left side, glove save made by Finta, and now knocked in. Delaware scores another one. Finta thought he had it in his net. Instead, it goes into the wrong piece of nylon, and Delaware goes further ahead.
Yeah, it looks like Finta just lost track of the puck there. It's another play, you know, not getting guys out in front. It's really important. It's those small attention to details that wins games, and we're going to need to increase the focus here if we want to make this comeback.
Thought for certain the way he reacted to that Finta had it in his glove. But instead he allows the 3rd goal for the Blue Hens in this opening period with 6:08 to go. Syracuse in need of a goal here to get some momentum on their side after the Blue Hens have been so far proving why they're the tournament's top seed.
Yeah, this next goal is going to be huge here. A 2-goal difference versus a 4 is almost insurmountable.
6 minutes as Delaware puts this out of play. We'll get a neutral zone face-off. Blue Hens ahead of the Orange 3-0 here on the SU Hockey Radio Network alongside Dane McCarthy, Caleb Spinner, bringing you coverage yet again as we have all tournament long. The Orange looking to come back yet again as they did in the opening game in the quarterfinals against Drexel. Down 3-1 in the second period, ended up winning in regulation 6-4. If they're able to get another comeback win in this tournament, it would mean that they go home with some hardware. Jake Brown in his own end, out of the left side, looking for a stretch pass feed, finds it towards Vasilevsky, but puts it behind him, off the wall, and Donor will chase down this puck, slowing up to get the icing. 5.5 to play, period number 1.
Yeah, good vision by Brown, just couldn't get the execution there. He saw Vasilevsky streaking late. Hopefully we can catch him guys loose into the neutral zone, get some corner opportunities.
Face-off in the Orange end, left wing side. Vasilevsky loses it to Guido. Guido moves it back towards Dozin. Dozin into the corner, across the ice, picked up defensively by Jack Wren. Wren down lower to Chesner. Chesner plays it back to his defensive line mate, Jake Brown. Brown works it up the right side half wall before Lowe and now Donor take over. Donor puts one from the point into Finta. Bodies in front, deflecting that feed, and now Wren up ahead with two Blue Hens in front of him and a teammate to his right. Looked like he was going to move it towards Duffy. Instead, takes it himself below the red line, where he loses the feed to Brady Burke. Burke able to work it out of the zone towards the slot just for a moment before Cato turns around and works it down the end boards. Gargurovich keeps it alive at the blue line for just a moment before taking it out, taking a shot from Dozin, and now still chirping at him in front of the Delaware bench as Gargurovich comes back into the zone to play this for Syracuse. On the attack, Pendergrass to Dozin, bar down, out of the net. Gargurovich almost had Syracuse's first goal in beautiful fashion, a highlight reel goal that got too much iron.
Oh man, that's a great shift by all three of the line mates there. Gargurovich just couldn't find the back of the net just off the post. You know, they always say hockey's a game of inches, and that's a perfect example right there.
Delaware icing brings us back down to the Blue Hens' end. Top-seeded Hens leading the Orange 1-0, or rather 3-0 here in the first period. Feels like just moments ago it was 1-0, and then back-to-back goals get Delaware to where they are now.
Yeah, you see what happens. It's only a few shifts. You know, it's one play you don't make, and it's going back to the net. That's what happens in high-stake games like this.
Alicia puts a low-angled shot towards Snellenberg. He's able to make the save, and a warning for high sticking. Freezes the clock with 3:57 to go in period number one. Blue Hens over the Orange, 3-0. This might actually get a penalty.
Seems like they're not allowing Delaware to change. It's going to remain 5-on-5 with the offensive zone faceoff.
Looked like one of the officials tapped early on the back and pointed towards the bench. Looked like he was gesturing towards the penalty box, but instead just saying, hey, get off the ice. Late icing called. Syracuse will get a face-off in their attacking end with 3:48 to play in the period. About 6 seconds going off the clock that didn't have to. But at least the Orange got the whistle they wanted.
Yeah, we'll take the offensive zone draw. This line's great with the face-off plays. I'm sure they'll try to craft something up.
Alicia wins the draw, but puts it into a corner where no Orange players were waiting for it. Taking over are the Blue Hens. Trying to clear it out of his zone is Dominic Guido. Had it go off a body of an Orange defender, chasing it back into his own right corner before moving it over to Burke, who clears towards neutral ice. Hutchinson trying to dangle. He had 2 goals yesterday, both of them on the power play, as Syracuse got a 9-5 win, Dolly Parton style, over the Stony Brook Seawolves. 3:15 to go, period number one. The Orange trail the Blue Hens 3-0 here in the 2025 ESCHL Championship. Delaware at the left point. Gibbons puts one towards Finta, sticked away by Infanger. Blue Hens keep the rebound alive. Working it down below is Trevor Early. Early got it around the back wall. Gibbons trying to hold the point. Instead, it goes between his legs and down towards the Blue Hens' end. Tracy now at the red line. Works it around towards Syracuse ice behind Finta in the goal. A hit, frees up the puck to Cam Gaffney in the right corner. Trying to free up the Blue Hens off of Gaffney is Ryan Thomas, getting in there with his body, pushing Cody Diaz. Gibbons through center into his defensive end before moving it off the right wall. Cato was there for the Orange. Cato flips one high towards Snellenberg. Snellenberg with some help keeps it out of his net. Cato right in front. Gaffney swiping at it. Snellenberg able to cover.
Another good save by Snellenberg, swallowing up pucks. He's been great making that first save and not leaving anything out there for rebounds.
Seems like the Orange are always right in front of the crease on those loose pucks, but they haven't been able to put any home as they trail the Delaware Blue Hens 3-0. Just over 2 minutes to go in the inaugural frame. Connor Chesner, right point, flips one towards Snellenberg off to his left. Guelph in the neutral zone off the rebound from Chesner's shot. In front of the Delaware bench, has to move it back to Hens ice. Rodriguez through center, gets it onto the stick of Guelph. Justin Guelph had 4 points yesterday in the Blue Hens' win over the Rhode Island Rams in the ESCHL semifinals. 2 goals, 2 assists for Delaware number 21. Impressive performance. He's another one who's a pretty automatic scorer alongside Ryan Rodriguez, who we mentioned earlier in this game. Chesner frees it over to his defensive partner, Jake Brown. Brown moves it across the red line to Gargurovich in center. Gargurovich has to put it back towards Chesner, and a delayed penalty coming. Looked to be against the Orange. It'll actually go against Mahoney and send Syracuse onto the power play. He is not happy with that one. Look at his body language.
Yeah, he's obviously frustrated. This is going to be a big power play for the Orange here. Getting a goal here late in the period, getting some momentum and good vibes heading into the intermission. It's going to be really important.
Minute 17 to play in the period. 2 minutes on the power play. The Orange about 21% with the extra skater coming into this weekend, but you rarely don't want to be on a power play, but this is certainly one kill where you'd maybe like to go even strength against them. Delaware at 81% down a man. That's the top number in the ESCHL. Off the face-off, Gaffney puts one low. Snellenberg able to deny, and now frees up the puck between his circles to Brady Burke, who clears. Final minute of the period, 1:37 to go on the power play. Dominic Guido sitting in the box. Gaffney up the left point, centers in towards Rugg, who was there, but couldn't corral the puck. And another clear by the Blue Hens. 35 seconds to play in the period. 1:16 to go on the penalty. Cade Cook working it in right side, through the slot, trying to center, couldn't find Vasilevsky. Delaware tries to clear again. Rugg holds the line, flicks one towards Snellenberg, and Snellenberg makes the save and clears again. Final 10 seconds of the first frame. 52 to go on the power play for Syracuse, trailing 3-0 against Delaware. Hutchinson across the offensive blue line, over to Gaffney, back to Hutchinson, back to Gaffney in the right corner, and the period will expire, but the power play will live on into the second frame. Syracuse trailing Delaware 3-0 after 20. Big power play coming up for the Orange. They'll start the second period a man up. 5-on-4 for the next 42 seconds to open period number 2. Delaware goes to the intermission with the lead, 3-0 over the Orange here in the 2025 ESCHL Championship. 1 down, 2 to go. We'll be back in just a moment on the SU Hockey Network.